A Chick-Fil-A facing opposition from several cities today after its president came out against same-sex marriage. San Francisco Mayor Edwin Lee tweeted, "Very disappointed Chick-fil-A doesn't share San Francisco's values and strong commitment to equality for everyone." Boston and Chicago also say the fast food chain is no longer welcome in those cities. Chicago Alderman Joe Moreno is one of the officials trying to block Chick-fil-A from opening new stores in his city. He represents Chicago's first ward. So you don't want Chick-fil-A to be in your ward.
Well, I've been working with them for, first of all, good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
I've been working with them. I've been working with them for about 8 months and working on traffic congestion issues we have with the site, and then also with non-discriminatory policy that we've made some progress on, not a lot, but some progress on, and I hope to continue that. I want to be very clear. I've said from the beginning, it's not about what people believe or what they say. That's protected, and I would be the first to protect any of that. If those beliefs or those sayings transfer into a policy that discriminates in hiring or in serving, then that's when I have an issue with it, and the community has an issue with it.
But has there ever been a complaint against this company for, this is the personal opinion of the president of the company. I mean, you could say that with 9.4%, wait a minute, with 9.4% unemployment in Chicago, should you be stalling or denying any new jobs created just because you don't agree with what the guy thinks?
Well, your premise is incorrect. It's not about what I disagree with what he thinks. He used the language as a we, and we were going to do this, and we're going to do this. That's more than one person. And I, again, it doesn't matter to me about anyone's beliefs. They have the right to do that or what they say. That's been mischaracterized in this discussion by some.
Well,
the bottom line is that if the discriminatory policies are there, or the lack of protections that are there for a constituency that's very much alive and thriving in Chicago, then I have an issue with that,
Alderman
just
Ward,
as we have in our civil rights history.
Alderman Ward, I'm sorry, this is Will Cain. I guess you're breaking news this morning because I have never heard of an allegation of discrimination that Chick-fil-A is either in their hiring process or their serving process towards gay couples. Are you suggesting today that Chick-fil-A, in fact, has been doing that?
Well, I would suggest that if you've never heard that, if you talk to the Civil Rights Agenda, which is an LGBTQ group that's dealing with some issues just like that in terms of firing or being felt unwelcome and inappropriate in their hiring of individuals that are in the LGBT community. They're working on that.
But Chick-fil-A specifically,
that doesn't make mass headlines. Excuse me. Well, yes, specifically. Again, I am responsible for a ward that's extremely diverse. Okay. And I want diversity, and I want people to be acceptable of all stripes and colors and thinking. And as they can believe what they want to believe. Again, that's not the argument.
But that's a different, I'm sorry, Alderman Ward, you've changed your message because yesterday you specifically quoted, you said people's beliefs have consequences. You were speaking specifically to Chick-fil-A's chief executive officer. You said that people's beliefs have consequences, and this is why the permit has been denied in Chicago. You yesterday had no allegations of discrimination.
Again, there's no permit that's been denied. That's another thing. Then I'm not denying a permit. I don't have the right as an alderman to deny or accept a permit. We're looking at approving legislation for their traffic control and their business practices. So again, there's no permit being denied. You're incorrect in that.
So
my point was, with beliefs have consequences. If those beliefs turns into actions, and actions of discriminatory policy or the lack of protections for LGBTQ people, that's the issue. It's not the belief. If their belief turns into action, there are consequences, and I'll clarify my statement.
And Alderman, we at CNN have not substantiated any of these claims about the company actually in its hiring or in its serving practices putting this into, using anything discriminatory. Sure. We'll look at that. And you're saying if, but so let's play the if game then. If Chick-fil-A is not doing anything discriminatory in its hiring or in its serving, then you're not going to let the opinion of the president stop you from creating jobs in your district.
Again, 8 or 9 months I've been working on this without any public exposure from me or from the LGBT group or from Chick-Fil-A. We've been working on this. They've already said to me, and I hope they put it in writing, that this is their words, not mine. They will no longer donate dollars to any organization, left, right, or center, that has a political agenda. That was one thing that we were working on.
Are you going to demand that from all companies that do business? I mean, because a lot of companies donate, and people involved with companies. If you're going to make everybody be completely apolitical and have no stand,
that was not a demand. Let's be very clear. You're putting words in my mouth. I did not demand that of them. They offered that. Secondly, they are working on, they put in their language that they are acceptable to everyone. They put on their Facebook page. I think that's a good step. Let's put it in their employee handbook, and let's open up a Chick-fil-A in Chicago.
All right, Joe Moreno, thank you so much for joining us. Nice to see you. I think this is really an interesting subject because it's a free speech issue, it's a job creation issue, it's also a legal issue. I don't know that
and the question of what is appropriate, or the consumers can make their own decisions. Jeff Bezos this week gave $2.5 million to a pro-gay marriage initiative in Washington. So are people in Alabama going to want to boycott Amazon? We saw with Whole Foods on healthcare.
Who don't agree with gay marriage, who are, I mean, not every one of the people in his district.
It's also the point that I made yesterday. Okay, so then what's next? So, for instance, Chicago has been trying to get a casino in downtown Chicago.
Right.
If Sheldon Addison says, I want to build one, he gives money to candidates who don't believe in same-sex marriage. Are you going to say his casino can't come in here?
Yeah.
That's how it can
that's where it's going. The reality is the battlefield. I've been covering politics for 30 years. The battlefield is expanding. No one is an innocent bystander. Anyone who steps out and gets involved in one of these debates is now part of...
This is different, Ron, and I think the Alderman realizes for some reason that he has walked out on very thin ice regarding the First Amendment. And now the story is changing, but I would suggest he might have walked onto thinner ice this morning by suggesting there's some discriminatory practice in Chick-fil-A that no one has suggested.
But the response of consumers, separate from a governmental, which, clearly you're not going to be denying people permits because of the views of the leadership.
Consumers
but consumers are different, and you are seeing companies being drawn into these political disputes once they step onto the battlefield. Look about Whole Foods and healthcare. Remember that.
He talked about and the company is a company that goes by biblical principles. It doesn't operate on Sundays. It is not a publicly traded company, right? It's a private company.